The California sky burned crimson as dusk settled over Montecito, casting lowing shadows across the Sussexes' elegant estate. Inside, Prince Harry stood motionless, staring at a framed photo of him and William as boys, their grins wide under Diana's watchful gaze. The weight of a recent, venomous argument hung heavy, its echoes still ringing in his ears. Meghan, ever his anchor, was upstairs reading to #IE and Lilibet, her voice a soft shield against the storm brewing beyond their walls. In July 2025, a clash with Prince William, raw and unrelenting, had pushed Harry to sever all ties with his brother, sending shockwaves through Buckingham Palace, and igniting a global frenzy that threatened to redefine the monarchy's future. The fire was kindled during a tense transatlantic phone call on July 27, meant to ease years of strain between he brothers. Harry, in Montecito, had initiated #D the call, driven by a flicker of hope to rebuild what was lost after the 2020 royal exit, the Oprah revelations, and #us fallout. The conversation began with stilted pleasantries. William spoke of his work with homelessness initiatives, Harry of his Invictus Games. But the tone shifted when William accused Harry of exploiting their mother's legacy in a recent Artual campaign, a video tribute to Diana that had gone viral. Why #OURE using her memory for clout? William snapped, his voice cold with betrayal. Harry, stung, fired back, "You don't get to gatekeep Mum's legacy." The call spiraled into a maelstrom of accusations. William called Harry deluded. Harry branded William apt. In a final, searing moment, Harry hung up, vowing to cut Montecito forever. The rupture was exposed within hours, when a Kensington aide leaked details to the Daily Mirror. The headline blared, #Harry's shock vow, no more William. On X #Royal feud exploded, with at Crown Sentry claiming Willie #M had finally had enough of Harry's stunts, while at Sussex Heart defended Harry, arguing he was protecting Diana's truth. Tabloids like The Express spun tales of a bitter betrayal, alleging Meghan had scripted the Artual video to provoke William. The world was hooked, dissecting every word of the brothers' clash, while whispers of #EPA rift, rooted in years of unspoken resentment, began to surface. In London, Buckingham Palace was a fortress under siege. King Charles, his reign shadowed by health #Uggles, sat in his #Ivate study, a letter from Harry unopened on his desk. The brothers' feud, once a private ache, was now a public wound, threatening to eclipse #Halsey's upcoming Commonwealth tour. William, at Kensington, was a storm of duty and rage, confiding in Kate that Harry's tribute to Diana felt like a calculated slap. Kate, ever the peacemaker, urged him to reconsider, but William's resolve was ironclad. His chosen fame over family, he said, unaware his words would leak to the Sun, fueling headlines of a royal showdown. The palace issued a clipped statement. His Majesty values family unity and regrets public speculation. But the words did little to douse the flames. In Montecito, Harry was a man torn between defiance and despair. The argument had ripped open scars, William's silence when Harry and Meghan faced racist vitriol, the palace's coldness during their darkest days. He confided in Meghan, his voice breaking. "He thinks I #am tarnishing Mum's name," he said, his ears distant. Meghan, he "our strength unwavering," took his hand. "We're honoring her, not them," she said, her resolve a quiet fire. They shielded Archie and Lilibet from the chaos, filling their days with beach trips and story time. But Harry's decision to cut ties was a weight he carried alone, a fracture in a bond he'd once thought unbreakable. The world was ravenous for details. On X, at Royal Gossip UK POS, Ted alleged screenshots of the brothers' call log, sparking debates over who hung up first. The Daily Mail published a blurry photo of Harry, alone on his balcony, captioned, "The Prince Who Turned His Back." Commentators like Lady C. Brand dead Harry a spoiled rebel, while supporters like at Global Sussex praised his stand for authenticity. Protests flared outside Buckingham Palace, some waving signs reading, "Free Harry," others demanding he lose his titles. The digital war raged, with #William vs Harry splitting the public into camps of loyalty and outrage. Behind closed doors, the royal family grappled with the wreckage. Charles, haunted by Diana's fractured legacy, reached out to Harry via email, pleading for a private meeting. #Harry, #StillRaw, didn't reply. William, consumed by his role as heir, threw himself into public duties, his polished smiles masking a private wound. Princess Anne, blunt as ever, Report DLY said, "Boys will bicker, let them bleed it out." But court ears feared the feud could destabilize the monarchy, with whispers of a leaked Archewell memo hinting at Harry's plans to launch a global foundation, in Diana's name, seen by some as a rival to William's initiatives. In Montecito, Harry and #Meghan chose defiance over surrender. They released a poignant Instagram video, standing together in their garden, the ocean glinting behind them. Harry's voice was steady but thick with emotion. "Oh, your work honors #my mother's heart, not a crown's agenda," he said. Meghan added, "We build for our children's future, not for our palace approval." The post drew millions, with #Honor Diana trending, though detractors like at Crown Critic UK scoffed, "Harry's just chasing headlines." Netflix, sensing the viral moment, fast-tracked a new Archewell documentary, despite palace whispers of #poor timing. The fallout reshaped the royal landscape. Charles, torn between his sons, ordered a review of Palace leaks, suspecting a mole in Kensington. William, stung by the public's divided loyalties, faced scrutiny over his role in the feud. In Montecito, Harry walked the beach with Archie, pointing out constellations, while Lilibet clutched a tiny crown made of seashells. Mef #AN, weaving Diana's stories into their bedtime rituals, vowed to #protect their peace. The brothers' rift was a chasm, raw and unhealed, but it was also a mirror to a monarchy at a crossroad. #ads, bound by tradition yet challenged by a prince who dared to walk a why. As dawn broke over Montecito, Harry stood alone. The photo of him and William now tucked away in a drawer. Meghan joined him, her ouch a quiet promise. In London, Charles held a similar photo, his heart heavy with the weight of a fractured family. The world watched, BR #ethless, as the brothers' silence spoke louder than words. Harry's vow to cut contact was no mere tantrum, it was a declaration of freedom, a spark that could either burn the monarchy